Hey Virgo and Virgo rising, welcome back to Beyond the Veil Tarot and Astrology. My name is Candace. I'll be here to kind of guide you through the transits for the month of September. And if you're a Virgo who was born in September, happy birthday to you guys. You have quite the month ahead. Let me tell you, this is going to be me kind of covering everything from the perspective of your rising sign, also known as your ascendant. So this is going to give you a much more personalized read than just the sun sign alone, as this is going to kind of set the order for the transits in your chart. If you don't know your rising sign, check out an online birth chart calculator with your time and location so you can find that. But I would say be sure to listen to not just your rising sign, but your sun and your moon sign. Especially if you have a sun or a moon in Virgo, you definitely want to listen to this prediction this month because there's eclipses that will be in your sign. I'm a Western astrologer. That is what I like to focus on for the 12 sign predictions, and I'll be using the whole sign chart system. Please don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, give me a thumbs up, and let me know how these predictions are playing out for you throughout the month of September. And also, if you want to see more about me and my work, if you want to book a reading, or if you would like to learn astrology, click the links below in the description. You can head over to my website at beyondtheveiltarot.com, and also consider joining my channel memberships here on YouTube. All right, Virgo. Well, I have to tell you, you're kind of the star of the show this month, and it's not because it's potentially your birthday month. There is just so much damn focus on Virgo this month. It's like crazy. So maybe you navigate this a little bit better than most signs, but obviously because you're Virgo or Virgo rising, you're ruled by Mercury. So let's talk positive things. Mercury is no longer retrograde. Yay. Okay, that's good. Mercury rules things like communication, intellect, organization, analysis, health, and being more flexible and adaptable. So going into September, you're going to see that Mercury actually starts the month until the 2nd in Leo. So pretty much after the 2nd, you're going to feel like you're coming back online, and you're going to find that, now there's going to be some changes with you being able to communicate a little bit more effectively, kind of coming out of that 12th house subconscious retreating haze. Then on the 2nd, when Mercury enters into Virgo, it's moving into your 1st house. This is empowering your personal expression, and it's allowing you to do that with precision. And it's giving you like the megaphone. So you're able to communicate better. You're able to speak up for yourself. Many of you guys will be shining when it comes to presentation. You just want to watch out for being too overly analytical and being too self-critical. But I think that you're really finding that this transit is helping you really sharpen your mental capabilities from inner reflections that you've been going through over this last month. And then you're going to find that it's going to be shifting into Libra. So we will see Mercury dip into your 2nd house later in the month, where thoughts are then going to be turning towards, balanced values in earnings, possessions, your financial situation. Great for getting your finances in order, for better budgeting things. It's also really great for you to be thinking about your values and what you value in relationships, right, Libra? So overall, this is, I think, a month of mental sharpening, and it's also really helping you tap into your identity and your resources. You want to use the Mercury transits for self-empowerment and kind of honing in on your analytical skills while embracing adaptability. All right. Now let's dive into the key transits. We're going to be going day by day. I'll cover what each means for you personally, give you some examples and how to kind of navigate these particular transits. So we're going to be starting at the beginning of the month, where on September 1st, Saturn is retrograding back into Pisces. So it's going to be retrograding into your 7th house. Something you need to think about, Virgo, is that if you have any personal planets, like if you're a Virgo sun, moon, or rising, that is between 24 and 29 degrees, you are in the line of fire with a rare and unusual Saturn transit. Saturn is opposing these placements, and oppositions are relational. 7th house can be your clients, your therapist, me, your astrologer. It can be your spouse and or romantic partners. So you're going to be kind of doing this reevaluation all month, like, who am I? What am I letting go of so I can embrace partnership, diplomacy, and working with other people? I think that, Saturn's going back into your 7th house because for the next couple of months until the beginning of 2026, you have some loose ends that you need to tie up in relationships. This is going to be prompting a review of commitments with karmic boundaries and reflection. Now, it's possible that delays in relationships, marriage, partnerships are teaching you patience when it comes to your alliances. So, for example, there could be a delayed business partnership that's really kind of highlighting where something is mismatched in terms of your connection with another person. This is also about reevaluating your expectations of other people. And I think that this is an important transit to define clear expectations in relationships and build stronger foundations. However, you will find that later in the month and throughout the next couple of months, with the North Node there's, destined people that you might be meeting. With eclipses there, it can be kind of inching you closer towards commitment, but it's going to have you be reevaluating, what do I have to give up to be a part of this partnership? What sacrifices am I making for other people? Now, on September the 2nd, Mercury will be entering into your first house. So this is where you have the megaphone. Honestly, your chart ruler being in the first house is kind of like what you do first thing in the morning. And it's really also enhancing your health, your habits, your self-talk, and anything revolving around your identity and being assertive, right? Because Mercury is connected to your 10th house. So likely this is going to bring clear, concise personal expression, and it's through critical self-review, which can be a positive thing. You could be bettering yourself. Obviously, it will come into a square with Uranus in your 10th house, where the way that you're communicating and expressing yourself can bring some changes with your career, some changes also with your public reputation. There can be a little bit of tension in speaking out with authority figures or maybe with parents or even with bosses. And there could be some tension in how you're communicating, expressing yourself in a professional manner. So watch for that. But I do think that this is about you being able to kind of maybe deliver, presentations in a very confident way. And you can definitely wow a lot of people with this and they'll be listening to you. Mercury is also, as it's going through Virgo, going to be in your first house for quite some time. So you're going to have plenty of time to kind of work through some of these ways of creating and expressing yourself. Now, I would use this transit for affirmations for positivity and channel the energy into refining, making changes about your appearance or in your health or your personal branding. On September the 4th, you're going to see Mars in Libra, which is going through your second house, where there is an emphasis on making money moves, spending, your personal values. This is going to come into a square with Jupiter in Cancer in your natal 11th house. And squares bring tension. I think that the 11th house is group dynamics, your future goals. And you can find that there is really value-driven actions that are clashing with friends or with social networks or with social groups. And there could be financial tension and aspirations that are kind of building. So a debate with friends over shared resources can really show you this, and it can be family values, relationship values. It could even mean going back and forth with another person about how you navigate a financial situation. And I would say you really want to budget collaboratively and seek a win-win solution in group dynamics with other people. On September the 5th, you're going to see Uranus turn retrograde in Gemini in your natal 10th house of career, reputation, and your professional kind of standings out in the world. And if you happen to be a 0 to, I would say 2 degrees of Virgo, sun, moon, rising, Uranus is squaring you. Okay, so Virgo, I can see there's a lot of you kind of getting tested with relationships, getting tested with career changes. I think that, Uranus retrograding in your 10th house is bringing innovations in your public life, but it's kind of behind the scenes because now it's turning inward and it's up for review. So you're reevaluating what you're doing for work. You're reevaluating your status, maybe even changes when it comes to your habits and your routine. And so I think that you're rethinking your professional path, and there may be sudden insights that can kind of come up from this, how you navigate your workflow, how you navigate your health. And that's because Uranus is tied to your 6th house. It is possible for some of you guys that a job opportunity evolving, unexpectedly kind of pops up out of the blue, a sudden job change or sudden return back to an old job or an old position. And I would just say that, plans can change internally, like updating your resume, without feeling like you need to rush any external moves. So maybe you're kind of reevaluating a plan for your career that's going to be happening down the road because Uranus will go back into Taurus and then it's going to return to Gemini in the new year. So if you know that change is coming, you're kind of preparing for that. Now, September 7th, you're going to be finding that there is a lunar eclipse full moon in Pisces. This will be happening in your 7th house, and it's at 15 degrees. So if you have anything 13 to 17 degrees, Virgo, sun, moon, or rising, this is opposing you. And if it's your birthday, then you're going to be having a lunar eclipse birthday. So it's a big year ahead for you when it comes to who you are in comparison to relationships. Honestly, I think in what feels like a bit of like a tornado of transits for you this month, this is something that's very welcomed. And this is probably one of the best eclipses in all of 2025. Full moon lunar eclipse puts the sun in your 1st house, the moon in your 7th house, and it's showing the dynamic between you and other people. Now, it's possible that, this brings some kind of release in partnerships versus self, and you're going to see that imbalanced bonds can kind of come up and you can gain personal clarity about your relationship or your role in relationships. Now, stay with me here. Like, yes, full moon lunar eclipses in the 7th can bring definitive turning points in relationships. So relationships that have been rocky or there's been issues or there's been problems, sure, we can see that a relationship for some can end. Some people can separate, they can divorce. However, I like this eclipse because, first of all, it's a north node. So it's about meeting fated, destined people. So if you're single, people can come in. It's also about working with therapists, astrologers, new business partners, and bringing in more clients. It's ruled by Jupiter, which is a benefic. It's trining Jupiter. That's an exaltation in Cancer in your 11th house. So this is more about relationship with friends, where you can get on the same page when it comes to goals and partnerships and relationships. You go out to a party, you meet new people, maybe you get introduced to somebody and it ends up being your future partner. So some of you guys can get engaged, you can get married, you can be talking about your future goals or even having children with partnerships around this full moon. However, it is also possible that, you're getting lost in all of the planets going through your 1st house where you're like, oh my God, I'm losing myself in this relationship, or what do I have to let go of? Or maybe you're having to release certain things so that way you can kind of practice better diplomacy with others. Look for friends providing strength and insight and support into your relationship as well. And for those of you guys who are going through a breakup or a separation, it can lead to self-growth. So do a meditation on relationships and maybe releasing things that you need to release if you feel like relationships aren't gelling, and kind of figuring out your role in this, because partners can be giving you feedback about what they need from you. Now, on the 13th of the month, the sun conjuncts Mercury in the sign of Virgo. And this will be happening in your 1st house. So very important for you. Obviously, the sun rules, dreams, subconscious, self-undoing, bad habits, bad patterns. Kind of the theme that I've seen for Virgo risings is that they're not so aware of what they need to be changing or what they need to let go of to better partner with other people. So you can become aware of self-sabotaging tendencies on this day, okay? Because the sun rules your 12th house. But a Cazimi is delivering like brilliant self-insight. So it can be a day where you have a dream, you have a download, you have a reading, you have a breakthrough, and your identity gets illuminated, and it's perfect for reinventing yourself. So picture like a personal reevaluation as a result of doing some introspective work, meditation, retreat, being alone in nature. And I would say this is a good time to really journal those revelations and act on them to personally evolve and improve yourself and also your image. On the 17th of the month, you're going to find that Mercury in your sign is going to oppose Saturn in Pisces in your 7th house. Virgo, listen to me, please. Trust me on this. When you have this opposition, it's going to be mirroring what will happen with the Virgo eclipse later in the month. Okay, so if Mercury is you and how you connect and communicate, if Saturn represents other people and romantic aspects or children, there is a meeting of the minds that's going to happen between you and another person. And it can be whether or not you and a partner are on the same page about having kids or getting married, or whether or not somebody is saying, hey, you know what, this isn't working for me anymore, or I need a separation. Not a great communication day, not a great business day. And it's a day where you're going to be feeling like other people are kind of blocking your ability to express yourself. I think that, this is where self-talk is really meeting relational limits. And there's going to be serious identity checks that are going to come through partnerships. Partner feedback is going to feel critical, but it's also going to be highlighting growth in areas where you can really evolve and become more self-aware. You can grow from these critiques, and you can, prepare your responses thoughtfully. You might need to kind of rest and recharge before you respond. I really like this as a day to like work with a manager, a coach, a mentor, an astrologer even, so they can give you insight in how to better navigate some of these relational themes. Now, on the 18th of the month, you're then going to see Mercury enter into Libra, and it's going to dip into your second house, which is all going to be about money, finances, and shifting your thoughts more to your value system and what you value in relationships and your relationship to money as well. So this does aid diplomatic earnings and also value discussions, and it can also bring in some indecisiveness with finances because it's Libra. But I think a negotiation win is likely, and better pay may result from this transit over the next couple of weeks, especially because Mercury is going to trine Uranus, so changes with work can actually provide you more support financially, and it's going to trine Pluto, so there's going to be a transformation of your health habits and your work. So pretty good for you if you're willing to kind of work with other people. I think that I would prioritize having harmony in relationships. I would be reviewing your spending habits and reviewing, what you value in relationships. On the 19th of the month, Venus enters into your sign. So this is probably like a cosmic blessing in the midst of some of the other transits going on. Obviously, Venus in your first house, Virgo, is bringing charm and focus when it comes to how you present yourself to the world. A little bit more lovable, a little bit more, flirty even. You might be catching some glances and getting some compliments. And in Virgo, it's going to be about practical beauty and enhancing your image. Just don't be too picky. That's what I would say. And also a style upgrade might be kind of coming up because Venus rules your second house. So it might boost your confidence if you're improving your look. I would be investing in self-care routines. And this could be something like a new skincare regimen, new clothes, and, grounding yourself out and feeling safe and secure. On the 21st of the month, this is what you want to mark your calendar for, Virgo. You are going to have a second new moon in your sign, okay? We had the first one in August, which was at 0 degrees. Now the second one's coming in. It's going to be at 29 degrees in your first house. So if you happen to have anything 28, 29 degrees of Virgo, sun, moon, or rising, this is very personal for you. Obviously, it's a new moon on steroids. So it's a solar eclipse, which is action-oriented, where you are seeding faded new beginnings for yourself, okay? And an identity shift will likely transform or arrive over the better part of like the next several months. This is a good time to release old versions of yourself, to reinvent yourself. It's a good time to really start a personal project that redefines you and helps you figure out who you are. I would be setting intentions for personal goals, but wait until after the eclipse kind of settles before you make any major dramatic physical changes. Mercury is the ruler of this eclipse. It will be in your second house, so it tells me that you're investing in yourself. You're investing in a new set of values. And also, I think this is about building confidence and self-esteem. So that's the positive. Truth be told, this is a very difficult eclipse for the collective because it's at 29 degrees. So it's a critical degree. It's a turning point, and it means I must do this now. 29 degrees also deals with children. So there can be tapping into the inner romantic, the inner child, healing the inner child, pregnancy. Some Virgo and Virgo risings can get pregnant as a result of this eclipse. Now, not necessarily this day. It could be within a month. It could be within 6 months. And it's redefining your goals when it comes to yourself. It's difficult because it's going to oppose Saturn in the 7th house, where you're like, well, who am I, or what am I giving up if I'm a part of a relationship or a personal kind of moment of crisis because you feel like you don't have a therapist, don't have a spouse, don't have a partner, and you're questioning, who's helping you, who's got your back. So there's a need to really kind of ground and focus on your own personal goals. And I would say watch your health, watch your habits. Positive is also that it's trining Uranus. So through the changes that are going on, it's changing your status. It can be professionally or in terms of your social status in relationships. And it's also going to be trining Pluto in the 6th house. So it's helping you focus on your health and your habits. Please watch your health. Okay, Virgo, Venus will be in your sign when that happens. So I think you're protected. But I also look at this and I'm like, some Virgos are kind of not seeing why they're not resonating well with other people, or there's relationship issues and they're putting themselves first for once. And then others are getting that feedback where other people are saying, hey, this needs to change, or you're not aware of this. So this is a blind spot for us to move forward. Let me know how that manifests for you guys. 22nd of the month, you're going to see Mars entering into Scorpio. So it will be going into your third house of the mind, communication, short distance trips, and siblings. And this is really saying, it's intensifying ideas and communication. Passionate expression, that's really empowering you, but it could also turn combative or argumentative. Winning a debate with depth is possible, and I would channel your words wisely through writing and try to avoid conflict, especially with neighbors or with relatives. Don't be speeding. You can be feeling like you need to quickly get around town or that you need to quickly move. And there could be intense negotiations going on over money or other people's resources. So watch for that. Now, also on the 22nd, we're going to see the sun enter into Libra. And as the sun goes into Libra here in the Northern Hemisphere, this is going to be the fall equinox, really hitting restart. And it's helping you kind of focus on finding balance with your financial situation and your relationships. And resource harmony is going to be taking center stage. So it's time to find some sense of financial equilibrium, maybe reviewing your budget, to make sure that everything is kind of balanced out perfectly. I would like to see you guys celebrating the equinox with a budgeting ritual or organizing your finances mindfully if you can, especially if there's some blind spots because the sun rules your 12th house of like what you don't see so clearly. Ask for some help or some support if you need it. And then on the 23rd of the month, you're going to see the sun in your second house of money oppose Neptune in your 8th house of other people's finances. Virgo, be careful with money and joint finances on this day. Because the second house is what you own, possess, or value. The 8th house is other people, also secrets. It deals with intimacy. So values are likely going to clash around this time. And there could be, illusions revolving around shared finances, money confusion in joint matters, what's yours versus what is somebody else's. And I'd be very careful with making big purchases or investments or dealing with loans. A vague investment opportunity can cloud your judgment. And I would say seek trusted advice and make grounded decisions after the opposition. Then on the 24th of the month, you're going to see Mars in Scorpio in your third house of communication is squaring Pluto in your 6th house of work habits and routine. So this is where you need to be careful driving, Virgo. You need to be careful with contracts and how you're communicating with people at work. Specifically, I think ideas will be clashing with your routine, and there could be some power struggles. Transformative mental conflicts are possible, and a work argument can escalate over details. So you want to try to watch for some of that nitty-gritty stuff coming up. Try to get into a breath work, exercise, do some breathing exercises, breathe through whatever is kind of changing and transforming. Some of you guys are also focusing on trying to change the way that you communicate, or you're trying to change something about your daily habits. So starting a biking routine, a walking routine, quitting smoking even can be really beneficial for you guys during this transit. So that's going to be the month ahead. That was the deep dive for my Virgos. Your best days, I think, are going to be September 2nd with your ruler's ingress. That's going to empower you and give you the opportunity for really great communication. The 13th of September for ultimate clarity and insights and downloads, and September 19th when Venus moves into your sign and it's boosting your charm. As for the days that are going to be the most challenging, September 4th, where there's value tension, try to stay collaborative. September 17th, where there's going to be some critiques that are going on, so reflect calmly. And obviously, the solar eclipse that you will see, and September 24th, where there's clashes with your ideas and you want to try to prioritize peace. Easier said than done this month. So wrapping up for you, Virgo, this month is a month of mental mastery and obviously some relationship juggling. So let Mercury kind of help you sharpen your identity and find ways to better kind of communicate. Yes, these eclipses are bringing major fresh starts for you as well as for the most close people in your life. Try to balance your resources if you can with grace, and use Mercury's transits for improvement and maybe releasing what feels like it's unaligned. So I hope it's a good birthday month for you guys. If this reading resonated, please give me a thumbs up, like this video, and drop me a comment below. I'd love to hear how September manifests for you guys and how these eclipses go. All right, let's see what the tarot says for Virgo. I get the 7 of coins. Okay, so the 7 of coins is like, where am I planting these seeds? Which makes sense for like the solar eclipse energy. It's like, am I investing in myself or other people? And when this card comes up, it's about harvest, rewards, results, growth, progress, perseverance, patience, and planning. I got to tell you guys, so much stuff is going to happen this month that you need to reassess and probably regroup and then make your moves in October. That's just my opinion. With the eclipses, this card is obviously about patience and growth, and you've been working hard towards a long-term goal, and now you're taking a step back and reassessing your progress and adjusting your strategy, both financially but also in relationships. So be mindful of where you are planting these seeds, what you're investing in, who you're investing in. Take your time when it comes to making some money moves, and I hope this is a good month for you. I'll catch you back here in the month of October. Until then, you guys take care.